5. Danny Baker.
We seem to have stumbled onto the air as usual. There will be no giant killings today. Play this back to me next week if there is one. This is how the game's going to end. You had your dreams broken, your hopes trashed, a damp squib, a reality check, an anticlimax. It went to foam. The day went from a hubbub, and then it went into a brouhaha. We went straight past hullabaloo to contretemps. Then we got into an imbroglio, and the whole thing ended up in a shenanigan. Oh, what a day.
5 Live.
With Danny Baker.
Call
0500 909 693.
Text
85058.
Email
lord.reith@bbc.co.uk.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, we would urge you to do it today, otherwise it's pretty thin gruel, because usually base metal Izzy Clark on the other side, by the way, 19-year-old Izzy Clark on the other side of the table. A base metal is, of course, the day's fixtures. We do nothing but analyse, dissect.
Yeah.
We did a little chewing the fat over what might happen on the day's fixtures. Now we've got nothing. Thin gruel. You know what they use to bolster a gruel in some countries in Asia?
Paper.
Seahorses.
No, not
seahorses, the endangered seahorse. Did you see Last Chance to See with Stephen Fry? Bags of them. You can buy 200 seahorses in a bag, freeze-dried. Thickens up the broth. You know, I know, but it's either the seahorse or thin broth. What do you want? And that is the choice before our audience today. Pile in our little salon and join us.
Because otherwise we'll be eating seahorses.
Otherwise the seahorse dies. Yes, good morning, everyone. So on the way in, AZ, I was doing, I've got the little...
Sorry, I'm just imagining the little seahorse head cut off on the pillow next to me instead of the big horse head.
Exactly, beautiful.
Mafia.
That's the Disney version of The Godfather, isn't it? They leave one of Ariel's seahorses up there. But on the way in this morning, I had I got the Nintendo DS and I got Scrabble, which makes any journey fly by.
Of course.
And I could see a word, and I thought, is that a word? Dreft. D-R-E-F-T. Now, I know it's a product, or used to be. It used to be the housewife's choice for all your fabric cleaning and softening. Dreft. And I thought, well, but Dreft can't it must be based on a word. Maybe it means super cleaner.
There's the Daventry Rail Freight Transfer Centre, which is known as Dreft.
Is it? Look at that. Well, see, I would have been disallowed that. You'd be murdered to play against. I would have balked that. I said, OK, you can have Dreft. Anyway, it refused Dreft. It says there's no such word. And the rest of the journey was clouded then. I thought, well, why did they call their product Dreft? What was it you just said?
The Daventry Rail Freight Transfer Facility.
Maybe that's what they named their washing powder after. So I started brooding then on things that have no meaning or things I don't know the meaning of, which could have took me all the way to the moon. But so I thought Decca, the record label Decca.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows what that means.
No.
There was a record label called Parlophone. Nobody knows what that means. You can go online. It's not there. And then finally got round to brooding about other household products that have odd names. You know Squeezy? The washing up liquid used to be called Squeezy.
Squeezy.
Spell it. How was that spelt?
S.
Yeah.
Q.
Yeah.
U.
No.
Oh!
If anyone still has an antique, I don't know if it's still, and God bless you, Squeezy, if you're still going. It was spelt S-Q giant E-Z-Y. Look, that's how Squeezy was spelt. And I think that's a way forward. The bigger the letter, the more you pronounce it. Squeezy. Have a look. You got it indoors. Now,
Don't double them. Don't put an E on the end. Just make it bigger.
Giant. Have a look. S-Q giant E-Z-Y. And of such inconsequential nonsense are we going to fly through the next couple of hours, everyone. There's we've got to mustn't overlook the real victims of the weather this week, of course.
Yes.
Jeff Stelling and the gang over there at... what are they going to do? Talk about your thin gruel. We'll have to send them some seahorses. They've got nothing going on over there. They just have to cut across to Cammy. What's going on over there, Cammy? He's watching a snowman melt. Unbelievable, Jeff! The carrot has just fell up his nose, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff. What are they going to do over there? I mean, 5, we've got the Arsenal-Everton game. Come on, referee inspection of the pitch. Then we'll find out who's a broadcaster. You try and fill that radio gold leaf. Anyway, but what do we want from you this morning? Have you ever met a groundsman in real life? I ever met a proper groundsman in real life. A fellow called Jack Blackman used to be our groundsman for years. He might have been the trainer. He might have been the trainer and the groundsman in the 60s, I think, at Millwall. But certainly Jack Blackman...
what always got me was that, you know, as a journalist at the game, you weren't allowed to walk across the pitch. And there's me thinking, wait a second, 22
I don't know
men.
what this is. What do you mean?
Well, if you after a game, when you're going back to interview the manager, you weren't allowed to walk across the pitch. You know, you had to walk all the way around. And there's me thinking, wait a second, 22 men have just been running around. Well, 23, count the referee.
Yeah.
Running around on that piece of grass, and then there, one woman and a cameraman aren't allowed to walk across it.
No, the cameraman. The cameraman's camera makes him sink in. Your stiletto's making holes all over the place. League titles are turned on such trivialities. I'm totally with them on that. But if in any walk of life, if you ever met a groundsman in real life, and who are the fussiest groundsmen? We live near a bowls green, and it's just fun to walk near it sometimes.
Get the scissors out.
Please, exactly, a groundsman in real life. Have you ever had your name for other reasons than something tragic? You don't want that, of course. But read out over the tannoy in a ground. Public address systems. What business had your name or fun with public address systems anyway? So we'll do public address systems this morning. And what is this weather really good for? What is it terrific for? Maybe you've invented a sport just for it. You could do it live on the air if you want to go out in your garden. I just saw some curling on there because that's all TV's got at the moment. Curling was on it. If you want to play curling in your garden and let us know how it's going on.
Well,
Skittles out in the garden? Let's call some games on. Let's call some games on in stark opposition to what's happening all over the place. I wrote down Owen Coyle's name. He went, despite my advice last week, just about the most sideways, boss-eyed move in the history of football.
He's got an affectionate connection to Boston.
Yeah, I don't think he's got affection there at Burnley. There, talk about burn your bridges. Have they got to go back there? Has anyone observed that? I'm sure they must have done. That's the most extraordinary move. And just outside of everything as well, I want to do this week, disappeared breakfast cereals. Breakfast cereals you don't see anymore. There's very, very few of them because you walk in now and you're spoiled for choice.
Is there still Trix? The one with a little rabbit?
Trix, that's right. Trix. I think that's next to the squeezy. We'll do household items and just breakfast cereals. Disappeared breakfast cereals. You want to give us a call this morning about any of that, but of course it warps and weaves as we go. One last thing. I'm sorry. I've just written it down up here. Look at that. Every team... And I know we've got the twinning going on. We're demolishing grounds. We want an anecdote about every sport.
Yes. And a person with an accident for every bone on Posh the Skeleton's body.
But it's a brand new one. A fruit for every team. Which every team should be represented by a fruit of some sort. Give your reasons, and only one fruit per team. Exactly, all the way through to your star fruits and a raspberry. The raspberry is going to be very popular, I think. Coming to you in a second, Tony. What you got there, Izzy?
On the subject of, it's not a different game, but a very important announcement. This is coming from Redcar, and it's from Bill and Ray.
All right.
It's 03:45 in the morning, and we've just returned from marking out a full-size football pitch in the snow.
Fantastic. Well done.
The idea is to get fans, supporters, players and referees who'd normally be going to a game today to join us for an impromptu kickabout of the immortal game. Kick-off is at 10:30 a.m. The On Stray in Redcar, between the Stray Cafe and Walnut Grove. That is, between the Stray Cafe and Walnut Grove in Redcar, 10:30 a.m. Participants, however, need to turn up at 10 to clear the remainder of the pitch.
Well done. While everyone lies supine and waits for the phone to go for the next call from the FA saying, we're not having this game, we're not having that, that's cancelled, ain't it cold? We alone as a programme are calling games on. We are calling them on, particularly if you can set them up in your own back garden or within your own house right now. We've done it before, indoor football. If you want to say we've got one goal in the door frame, the other one's the fireplace, game on. Let us fight back against the elements. The deities who play with us, we're just God's tennis balls. We'll show them, we've got some free will left. Here's Tony. Tony!
Morning, Danny.
Morning to you, Tony. All good, nothing bad. Tony, so Tony, what have you got for us?
Well, last week you were doing this thing about stories about seats at football grounds.
I was doing... Oh, yes. We're just, the stories, the tales of the seat. Not just the restricted views or whatever, but notorious or otherwise seats. What do you have for us, Tony?
Well, I've got more than a seat. I've got a whole stand.
Okay. This may be cheating.
No, well, I don't think so. I don't think... Listen, hear me out here. Now, years ago, I worked for a building company up in Luton. And they got a contract to build a new stand at Luton Town Football Club. Now, the guy who was responsible for all the buying of all the materials and the subcontractors and the like had to buy the seats.
Right.
But he was a mad Watford fan.
Right.
Bit of rivalry between Luton and Watford.
Of course, yeah.
So what he was doing, he used to get sample seats delivered to the office. And he was looking to select the ones that were most uncomfortable that the Luton fans would have to sit on forever and a day.
So he would, the cheaper and kind of more bony and the angular the seat, the more tortuous, he would say, yes, that seems about right.
Yep, that will do for me, thank you very much.
And how many of these seats did he order and install?
It was one of the small stands along the side of the ground, so I think it was probably only a couple of hundred, I think. but more than enough for discomfort.
A tiny fragment of revenge, and as far as you know, they're still there.
Yes, I've had the displeasure to have to sit on them on one day, actually.
Could you identify them? We're not going to ask you to do it. We're not going to ask you to squeal or grass. But do you think you could identify them? If you see a throw-in being taken, do you look and say,
Absolutely.
Look at that fella shuffling from buttock to buttock. That's because he's in one of the... How many of them are there?
I think in that particular area, it's only a small stand they built along one of the sides of the pitch. And I think, it was only a couple of hundred seats or whatever, but I think we use it as their corporate area these days.
And every seat has been tested for inconvenience and just general aggravation.
Absolutely.
True story?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He goes better than that. I think he was on, Watford, because they didn't beat Luton very much in the old days, and I think they beat him in a cup tie, and he rang up pretending to be a Luton fan.
Yeah.
Just to find out the result, pretending he'd been on holiday.
He can't help but feel partially responsible for whenever they get a good result.
Sorry?
Whenever they get beaten, he can't help but feel partially responsible.
That's right, yeah.
There's our friend Tony in St Albans, Tales of the Seats. We've got plenty going on this morning. A fruit for every team. Who's got an indoor pool? I think people who've got swimming pools in their back gardens, there can't be many in this country, but people who've got swimming pools in their back gardens, certainly indoor pools.
Just a hot tub would be nice.
Hot tubs, I always think, it smacks of swingers. It does. If any hot tubs and those above-ground pools, they're just like swinger sites. I'm sure the people who are listening to us who have them are completely blameless in that respect. But the people are the real victims of this weather are the poor people who have swimming pools indoor and out. It must be hell. Let us know what it's like if you have a pool, either indoor or out. People are always very reticent to do that, but you'll be celebrated on this show. Come forward and say, well, I know it's not like not being able to get to the store to buy bread, but our pool at the moment is absolutely shocking. I would love to hear from you.
If they've got an indoor pool, they're laughing, surely.
No, you'd be surprised. The pipes can freeze up. Trust me. It's just gone 9:15. Here's Lindsay.
Thanks very much, Danny. Good morning. Another busy one, I'm afraid, on the M6 between Newton Le Willows and Haydock, 22 to 23. 2 lanes are closed there. The M48 Severn Bridge is open, but 1 lane closed both ways. In Northumberland, dangerous driving conditions on the A1 between Alnwick and Addiston. Also, the A68, the A69 and the A696 also badly affected this morning by the snow and ice. In Cumbria, the A6 Shap Summit is closed. The A57 Snake Pass closed between Glossop and Sheffield. The A40 Oxford Northern Bypass, that's just been closed westbound because of snow between Headington Roundabout and Cutteslowe Roundabout. Also, the A14 in Suffolk closed westbound between junctions 42 and 39. That's Wesley Interchange and Kentford. A lorry's hit the central reservation there. Reports of snow as well in East Sussex on the A259, blocked between Eastbourne and East Dean. Eurostar are running a reduced timetable today. A number of cancellations. Also, train services across the UK affected. British Airways are warning passengers to check before leaving for the airport today. Many flights have been cancelled. All of today's BA services from Manchester to Heathrow have been cancelled, and also flights from Edinburgh and Glasgow to Heathrow affected. And EasyJet so far, 36 flights cancelled. There is a full list on their website, so do check before setting off. The travel hotline 03700 100 500. Lindsay Hipgrave, 5 Live Travel.
Hello there. Sorry if you were thoroughly enjoying the travel or something. It's Chris Addison here. Just wanted to interrupt your listening for 30 seconds or so to tell you about my new show here on 5 Live.
7 Day Sunday.
We rip up the week's news. Too much news to get through, obviously, in and out, but we will give it a go. Then, feel a bit bad about it and then tape it back together all in the wrong order and just probably totally miss the point.
7 Day Sunday with Chris Addison.
And 3 other available people every Sunday from 11 a.m.
on 5 Live. Email lord.reith@bbc.co.uk. Danny Baker.
I was talking right away through the travel. I just keep talking, let them fade me up every now and then. So other than, sliding tea trays down hills and snowballs and that, other ways of utilising the weather so we can call games on. If you've got your own garden, you've got something going on in your own garden, set it up right now, skittles or some kind of curling, and we'll cover it. Such is the dearth of actual sport at the moment. We're trying to call games on. What you got over there, Izzy?
I've got green tomato hockey.
This is terrific. Go on, green tomato hockey.
This is from Seaton, who now lives in Vancouver. He used to live in the city of Saskatoon in
of course,
Saskatchewan.
Saskatoon, yeah.
Just as one of the coldest winters we'd ever had was beginning, he moved to this city. I worked for a few months at a tomato packing plant on the outskirts of the city, and all day the running of the machinery kept us warm, while the temperature outside reached, here's a chilly, minus 40 or minus 45 degrees, and the wind blew in from the open prairie. At quitting time, when we cleaned up, there'd often be the odd tomato that had strayed to the perimeter of the warehouse and frozen. We'd play hockey with the frozen green tomatoes. The greens were the hardest, so had the best chance of having rolled as far as the wall. We'd run in and out of the machines, whacking the ball with boxes we'd folded into crude hockey sticks, but I don't remember what the goals were anymore.
You see, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. Never mind the temperature on that. And then everyone's sitting around sucking their thumb saying, oh, my game's been called off.
Always a bit chilly.
And here we are just, taking some pleasure, it seems, in calling off game after game. Let's call games on. This is the spirit. Do not let the professionals just govern your pleasure on a Saturday. Because, as I say, Jeff Stelling and the chaps this afternoon have got to cover something. They could be coming round to your house. We need a fruit for every team. The tomato, of course.
fruits.
A tomato is a fruit.
Yes, a tomato is a fruit.
I won a stamp competition once by knowing that. I was about
Really?
9, but the teacher didn't turn up, so the relief teacher, as they do, set a kind of quiz. Now, I'm going to give you all a Stanley Gibbons stamp album, and I want you to see how many fruits you can find. There's clever. He sat there behind the desk with a hangover while we did that. But I knew that a tomato was a fruit, and thus took the prize, which was a licorice pipe. In those days, teachers gave out licorice pipes as prizes. So what fruits? A fruit for every team. What fruit should represent your team?
Apples for Everton, because we love toffee apples, suggests Tom in Bath.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it. He's the first in there, unless somebody else has a better reason for snatching the honest apple away.
Darren, Norwich City, the inflatable banana, no contest, looks like a canary when you wave it quickly.
That's
And they
okay.
used to be
That's
free
okay.
from fifes or geese.
That's okay.
Big Dave in Ulverston says, as Barrow FC are known as the Bluebirds, their fruit must be the blueberry.
Well,
but
that bit
Cardiff
too
City are
literal.
also known as the Bluebirds, so I mean...
Yeah, but he got in first.
He did get in
and
first.
that's the way this works. Don't sit around while, I can wait upon I would. Because if people are getting in first, you're saying, but we wanted that. So a fruit for every single team, by the way. What was the one previously? It was the Fife's Bananas, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, banana for Norwich City.
See, I can't have that because banana's not a fruit. It's a herb.
It's a nut, isn't it?
No, it's not a nut. It could be a nut. Do you know what the great thing about nuts?
It's
And
a
I promise
seed,
you we'll
a
knuckle
seed.
down to the show proper in
Okay.
a second. They're made of wood. Isn't that the craziest thing? It's a snack that's made of wood. I've got to sit at Christmas and I looked at that bowl and I thought, why don't we make more of that? They're a snack that are made of wood. Anyway, so I won't. We can allow that, but on a technicality, of course, the banana is actually a herb. It is a herb. Here's Mark.
I
Mark,
don't know how I let you get away with saying
it
things
is.
like that.
Check it out. The banana.
All right, I'm going to talk to your man while I do.
Mark, good morning.
Hi, Danny.
There's a trouble around here, Mark. You cry wolf. People think just because, you're yakking about this and that there's not great truth at the centre of it. I've got to say...
I lose 2 hours of my life every Saturday morning. I'm never getting them back, but it's great fun.
Well, bless you for that. But I've got to tell you, the show QI, based on just such a
Banana
conversation...
can be considered a herb.
Thank you very much, Izzy. Don't sound so surprised. Mark, why on earth did you call us?
I can't remember. You're talking about breakfast cereals that you remember?
Well, it disappeared breakfast cereals because I think the only thing that's going to get us through the current frozen crisis is breakfast cereal sooner or later. Which one's gone?
Well, no, I'm going to disappoint you now. I'm going to take that subject, but can I take that into sporting equipment that you remember? I know you like that kind of thing.
Yes, certainly, Mark. But give me that crowbar. I might use it in a minute. OK, so it's sporting equipment that you may remember. Yeah, go
Things
on.
that you don't see anymore. I've got 2 for you. One quickly and one
Go
that's
on.
great.
What is it?
Feathered flights and darts. Do you remember those?
Yes, of course, feathered flights on. Do they not have them anymore?
No, Danny, we're too old for that now.
Well, really,
You're
I mean, you
trying
say that, but I can't remember the last time I played darts, and I certainly don't examine it in high definition. I just presume they were there. How about shuttlecocks? Do they have feathers still?
You are a little older than me, but
No.
not in my memory. No, you are. Really.
No, I'm saying, surely they were around like last week. Shuttlecocks with feathers on them. They're brown feathers all over a shuttlecock. I think I'm right
Where
there.
you hit it. Here we go.
All right, so number one, then you're saying on the flights on a dart. You said you had another?
and here's the second.
Go on.
Every home had one of these. They didn't realise they did. The home football puncture repair kit.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was. It was.
Well, it may not be the one you think. Mine was in the kitchen drawer. Where did you keep yours?
Well, you see, another show, when it's even slower than this week on the Sporting Front, Mark, we will ask people to turn out their kitchen drawers, because the kitchen drawer has, as we know, and I'm sure it's been examined by various stand-ups, but I did this a long time ago myself, and we played poker with interesting things in the kitchen drawer, including the pack of cards that, even though every time you get it you count them, there are usually the 52, but sometimes just the 48. There will be the little, that usually curled up, and women do this, and I don't know why, because curtains haven't been hung on those pieces of wire with a hook on either end for many years. One of those curled up, a dice.
I have them.
And the puncture repair kit. You have that, do you?
Yeah, I have. I do have the curtains hung up by those things.
Oh, okay. Mark, sorry, I do apologise. So your puncture repair...
Can I have my crowbar back, please? my football puncture repair kit.
Yeah.
The ball. Remember the plastic footballs you get from any service
Of course, there was
station?
only 6 in the country. That's why everyone needed a repair kit. Yeah.
And then they burst. If you looked at it too hard, it'd burst, and you'd be devastated.
But Mark, let me ask you this: did you never just get a hot knife and try to smear it over?
No. You steal a man's crowbar and you steal his thunder.
I didn't know you were heading. It's called conversation. You get it never ever works. Hotting up a knife and then trying to go over the hole in the thing.
It does.
Does
it really does. Because some of the balls, if you took a premium petrol station ball, and I'm talking the £2 orange ball,
yeah, okay,
that had an adapter that you could attach a pump to. So
Yes,
if you
it
could
did.
get the hole and smear the hot plastic
Wow.
over, make the kitchen smell for a month and your mother would beat you to within an inch of your life, but then you could pump the ball up and it'd be as good as new.
But given the idea that, and then this is Five Live's official line on this, that children hotting up knives, it does seem a different age. Mark, thank you very much indeed. He was bringing us there fun with disappeared sporting equipment, which is apparently a spin-off of disappeared breakfast cereal. But I like that. Wait there, Gary. Wait there, Phil. What you got?
You're very concerned about Jeff Stelling's antics this afternoon.
Unbelievable, Jeff. The snowman's... one of his eyes is loose. They're going to have to watch snowmen melt this afternoon.
Well, Simon Tillett from Sandbach says Jeff and the boys need to present the show as normal today, but play the role of the pools panel. They could keep all fans in suspense as they explain away their decisions on the results of games, including scorers, flashpoints, etc. Furthermore, the results should stand. And talking about arbitrary games, rules, and so forth, the first ever replay of Oi Do Me a Favour, of course, is coming up after
yes,
half
the
past
sausage
9.
sandwich game. Last
Yes.
week, an exciting draw. And we're going to, because it was a cup game, I said, let's replay it. And thank you to everyone who sent in suggestions for questions, because we can't do the red or brown sauce question, but we certainly have a couple in reserve, thanks to the hundreds of people who suggested variations upon that as we make our way through the morning.
Oh, Ian in Islington agrees that the banana plant is a herb, but the bit we eat is the fruit of that herb.
Rubbish. It's not true. It's not the fruit of the herb. It's not. You've read it. You got it from online.
Well, the banana plant's a herb,
It's
but
a
it
herb.
has a fruit that grows from the herb.
Well, nuts.
I mean,
are made of wood.
chamomile's a herb, but it has a flower that grows on it.
Well, okay, but in essence, and I think at root, at genus, a banana cannot be classed as a fruit. We are the fruit of our parents' loins. Does that, make us representing Barnsley? Here's Gary in Cheshire. Gary!
Good morning, Danny.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It may be the way we've been rattling on. Gary, what do you have for us?
It was have you ever had your name announced on a tannoy?
On the tannoy, as
At a
opposed to,
football ground.
nothing like your house is on fire, please, but what reason did you have then, Gary?
It was a while back in the 90s. I was on a lads' weekend. I was living in London at the time. Went up to Rochdale on the Friday to pick up a mate of mine, John, Big John, who's about 6'4", and we had a few beers in the Cemetery pub at Rochdale. Went to bed, got up in the morning, set off to Hartlepool against Maidstone United, who are sadly no more.
Yes, of course.
And as we were going up the A1, I suddenly realised that I'd left my weekend bag with my change of clothes and sort of winter weather stuff back in Rochdale. So I had to borrow, before we got to the game, I had to borrow Big John's sort of light-coloured Mac. Bearing in mind he's 6'4" and I'm about 5'9" and a bit. So I had to wear that into the ground. Also, at the time, I had a bit more hair than I have now, and I also had John Boy worn glasses.
Right,
As I was
okay.
sat in the stand before the game started over the tannoy, the guy, the announcer, said, we'd like to welcome our special guest, the Milky Bar Kid. And he was...
You? They identified you as the MBK?
Yeah, and everyone in the stand sort of like immediately looked around because
Yeah.
I stood out a little bit in this oversized coat.
Yeah.
With my little John Boy Walton glasses on, and so.
And how old were you at this point?
It's in the 90s.
Oh.
So.
Well, I don't know how old you
I
are.
don't know, I'm 45 now. So
Oh, I see. So you weren't some like 9-year-old. You're full.
No. I was a child in a man's body at the time. So
you're in the fuller state of manhood, and he welcomed you as the Milky Bar Kid.
He did in his broad Hartlepool.
But you weren't the Milky Bar Kid.
No, I wasn't, sadly, because if I was, I probably would have owned Hartlepool as opposed to being as a spectator.
But could you not? I mean, this is the kind of thing that turns up on Jeremy Kyle. Did it blight your life? Did you sit the rest of the game in a funk? Did you think, well, who's he to bring me out as the Milky Bar Kid?
Well, it was a choice of the Milky Bar Kid or Macaulay Culkin. I used to get...
Let's stick with the Milky Bar Kid. So,
yeah.
Gary, given that everywhere you go now, if anyone who knows you's hearing you on this, they're going to raise this again, could you do me a favour and shout the Milky Bars are on me?
Yeah, I will do.
Go on, then.
The Milky Bars are on me!
Thank you very much indeed, our friend Gary in Cheshire. He had reason to be called out on the tannoy. Well, the weather's very important, so I'll hit it like bang. I won't be late for the weather today. I'll go straight to Peter to say, what's going on, what gives, what goes?
It stays cold. There's a surprise. Yeah. More to come, says Weatherman. Lots more to come, actually. Not just cold, but a bit of snow heading in as well.
Is it Frozen Britain 010?
Frozen Britain, once again, yes. For at least the next week, actually, Danny.
OK, good. I'm all for it. I welcome it.
I must admit, I do like a bit of snow as well.
You know what? My natural birthplace should have been Narnia. I'm all about this.
Well, having spent 2 years in the Antarctic, then, this is nothing.
Did you?
I did, yeah. I worked down there for a couple of years.
On it or under it?
On it and under it.
Wow, man alive. Another day, I tell you what, getting here at 15:15, we need to hear all of this. Yeah. OK,
yeah, there's some tales to be told. But there's some weather as well, and as I say, it's going to be another very cold one. Temperatures got down to minus 15 last night in the Highlands of Scotland, not as cold as it has been, mind you. Snow mainly through the rest of today across eastern parts of England. That's where we're going to focus the snow showers. Central and western parts of England and Wales, lots of sunshine, but very, very cold thanks to the northeasterly breeze. That's going to be a big feature of the weather today. It's going to make it feel absolutely bitter out there. Scotland, fairly cloudy at the moment. 1 or 2 snow showers, particularly across the eastern side. They'll sort of tend to stick around across the borders for a while. Northern Ireland, bit of sleet and snow, nothing much more than that, but not a lot of sunshine either. Probably about +1 is your top temperature here. We're a bit worried about this evening and over tonight, though, with snow showers pushing in from the east on strengthening winds. So many eastern parts of England getting a covering by the end of the night. It'll drift as well as the winds start to pick up, and that snow becoming fairly extensive across England and Wales. Tomorrow, some places could see another 20 centimetres.
Terrific. We may gather the filmic images that the country represents before the end of the show. John Carpenter's The Thing. There's a good snowy, freezing film. Any others, please? What?
Well, just on the snow, in fact, Tony says his swimming pool cover is bowing under the weight of snow, and the water's frozen solid and may actually crack the pool. Middle-class worries are the worst,
It's
he says.
nothing, let's go upper middle, because we're looking at the real victims of the cold snap, people with pools. OK, it's 9:30. It is Tom with the news headlines.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good morning. Emmanuel Adebayor says many of the Togo team that were caught up in a gun attack are in a state of shock and want to go home now. The team bus was attacked in Angola. The driver was killed. Cold weather payments for the elderly are no longer good enough, according to Age Concern. The charities called for an immediate review to prevent a rise in deaths this winter. For more snow, as we've heard, is forecast this weekend. Councils have been told to use less grit on the salt, gritting salt on the roads to help save dwindling supplies. The Nigerian man accused of trying to blow up a plane over America on Christmas Day has pleaded not guilty in a court in Detroit. Umar Farouk Abdul-Muttalab is charged with the attempted murder of 290 people. And the Chancellor, Alistair Darling, says the UK will face its toughest constraint on spending in 20 years if Labour is re-elected. In a newspaper interview, he's also confirmed there would be a budget before the election. 5 Live and the sport now. Here's Caroline.
And as we've been hearing, Togo's players will decide today whether or not to play in the Africa Cup of Nations. Here's the Manchester City striker and Togo captain, Emmanuel Adebayor.
That's the captain of my national team, and I told them if the security is not sure, then we'll be leaving tomorrow during the day, because at the end of the day, it's just only football. I'm not ready to pass away now. I think a lot of players want to leave. They don't want to be in this tournament anymore because they have seen their death already. They have been in a thing where you are close to your life and your death, on your death. So I think most of the players want to go back to their family.
Meanwhile, the Hull manager Phil Brown has led calls for Premier League players to return to England. Brown told The Sun, "I have 2 players on duty and I want them home." Plenty of sport postponed due to the bad weather today. For a full roundup of what's on and off, check out the BBC Sports website. Wigan against Aston Villa has been called off in the last hour, so now only 2 games will make it in the Premier League. Manchester United can go top if they beat Birmingham in the late kick-off. Elsewhere, third place Arsenal face Everton at the Emirates. Both games here on 5 Live Sport from 12. Now, how do the top managers in the world communicate? By letter, of course. Arsene Wenger has revealed he's written to Barcelona and Real Madrid, telling them none of their players are for sale. They didn't reply. Ian Bell insists relations with South Africa are fine, despite the ball tampering row which overshadowed the 3rd test. Bell and Paul Collingwood hit a match-saving century stand for England, and after the home side announced suspicions of tampering to the media without putting in a formal complaint, it could have caused tension between the sides.
Both sides have, play it very hard on the field, but get on well off the field. And that's what Test cricket's all about.
So no breakdown at all, you don't feel, in relations between them?
Oh, no, not at all. It's, straight after the game, the guys are, get on particularly well. So it's not at all.
British youngster Laura Robson has been handed a wild card for the Australia Open. Robson and Andy Murray lost to Spain this morning in the deciding mixed double rubber of the Hopman Cup. And there'll be a 3rd inspection at Lingfield in the next half hour to decide if racing goes ahead. Earlier, Kempton was given the all clear.
Danny Baker on 5 Live. Email lord.reith@bbc.co.uk. Call 0500 909 693. Text 85058.
Yeah, sit tight in your winter wonderland, everyone. Get somebody to suck a warm mint, sit round their tongue, and get extra warm by watching the Redknaps sell you a holiday. The lovely warming feeling of that's it, the Redknaps off on a package holiday. That sounds about right. Well, by the way, this item in the news, I don't know who this fella is, saying there's no more salt and that's all there is to it. They're trying to start a salt panic. What would Gandhi do? We should march to the ocean. Who's with me on that? I'll organise that after the show on a Facebook. Let's all march to the ocean. We'll show him who needs his salt. Good morning, everyone. A fruit for every team amongst our subjects. Here's Stephen. Stephen!
Hello, Danny.
Hello, Stephen. Thanks for being there. Steve, what have you got for us?
Well, it's absolutely nothing to do with anything you've talked about so far.
That's the style.
That's part of the course, isn't it?
Mm.
Right. Well, if you remember Dreft, Danny, you must remember Tell Me. Did you play Tell Me? 1960s?
Well, tell me
again.
You
have a little wheel, you spin it round. Here it is. Oh. Squeaky little wheel.
You should do that again, because that's the kind of effect that Marconi loves. Go on.
Excellent. I'll do it again for you. Hang on.
I've got this tremendous urge to play this game. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, squeaky little wheel. You spin around. It finishes on a letter.
Yeah.
You pick out these cards, and you've got the first one to suggest something beginning with that letter. Wins a point.
Well, for example, what did it just stop on?
It stopped on, because it's a rubbishy wheel, it stopped between W and Y, which is...
But it's your choice.
Between W and Y, yes, there isn't even an X on it. So.
But if we're playing the game then, and it's saying it stopped on Y, what do you do now?
You pick up a card, for example, there's one in front of me, a part of the human body.
Beginning with Y?
Yeah,
oh, yes,
and
I
so,
think...
you all scratch your heads and
No,
you give up.
No, hang on. Hang on. Come on, Izzy.
Come on.
Your leg.
Your leg.
Very good. That is the sort of creativity that usually wins the game, I have to say. Now, the point of Tell Me is that
there a part of the body that
card...
begins with Y? I've gone now. Yes, this is the game. Now, sorry, Stephen, but at the top of the hour, we said we want to call games on. We can't sit here like, suckers, just letting the authorities say no sport today. And this already has set the nation on its ear.
Right.
So, Stephen, once you've done that, how does the rest of the game resolve?
Well, you just keep going through these cards, and there's a whole pile of them. And because this is a 1960s set, there's some very silly ones, such as, a household duty. I don't think most people know what... duty.
Yodeling.
Yodeling, if we were going with a Y.
Yodeling. That often gets put in for Y, I have to say. Anyway, this is a bit tangential, because the card I was particularly keen on was Something Seen on a Country Ramble.
Something seen on a country ramble?
Yes.
This is how to stretch the imagination. It is brilliant.
We were on a country ramble on Boxing Day, as you are, and we went over lots and lots, it was in the Peak District in Derbyshire, lots and lots of styles.
Of course, styles.
And of course, at some point, we thought styles. and then we went through some gates. And what this led us to is not play Tell Me at all, but coming up with a country ramble football team.
Oh,
Entire football team, Nobby Stiles, Eric Gates, entire football team that you could see in the country ramble.
Bramble.
What a brilliant way of doing. What a
So can I
wonderful
read them out for
call,
you?
Stephen. Oh,
and
please.
you can improve on them, obviously. And you can argue over the subspace.
No. Look, this call, which initially grabbed us with the game, and you've brilliantly now led it
but
onto.
I've led you
to your
segued, I think. Is that
beautiful crowbarred, segued, whatever way you want to put it. I will now give you the pomp and circumstance. Please give us a team entirely inspired by a country ramble.
Okay. In goal, Chris Woods. The defenders, Nicky Hunt, still some of those around, Nobby Stiles, Bobby, Darren, or anybody else you care to mention, Moore, and of course, Titus Bramble. In midfield, we have to have Eric Gates, Chris Commons,
brilliant,
Paul Green, bit of a Derby County bias there, and Dennis Ollie.
Oh, very good.
Good, eh?
That's clever.
Up front, Simon Church, Stephen Bull.
Yeah.
Or Steve, as he's known to his mate.
Steve Bull.
Now, a lot of argument over the
Church
subs bench.
Yeah.
Tim Flowers has got to be on there. Wayne Bridge. Possibly, if you're walking by the riverside, George Boating.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Brilliant, George Boating.
My sister, and you detect the Derby County bias, my sister is a Derby County season ticket holder, poor thing.
Yeah.
Was suggesting that we could sneak in Kevin Hector.
Yeah.
But I think that's a...
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah,
she'll like that. Carol, that was a good choice.
Yes,
if you're listening, yes.
All of this is just magnificent, and people's minds are racing. Absolutely
well, the
racing.
One to say Evander Snow, okay, that wasn't... We didn't have so much of it, but you would see that now.
And I would disallow, sort of Snow or, Walters, yes, I believe, we could go that way. But certainly the way you've kept it, very, extremely...
It's very tight, very tight.
I can see
we need a manager. Mark Robbins?
Yeah, I don't know about Robbins, because that could drift into any of the others.
Drifting into Christmas. You see, we actually started with Christmas.
Yeah.
But that was a bit, anybody could do
wishy-washy, and it's also, it's over. But Stephen, I've got to tell you, the way you led into that from the terrific game we all played along with you into a football team based entirely on a country ramble. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. Stephen in Buckinghamshire, it's only a tragedy that we've got to knock out Derby in the replay, which will take place sometime in the middle of June by the look of it. So welcome aboard, everyone. A fruit for every team. We're certainly asking you what fun can be had with whoever as we try to call games on. What have you got there, Izzy?
Talking about games on, there's still top-flight British ice hockey on all over the country tonight and tomorrow night, so it could be a good time to go and watch a new sport.
No, but we want new sports full stop. We want you to go out to your gardens and try curling or something you can do with the elements to say, for every game off, we call one on, please.
Fruit for every team. The strawberry for Newcastle United suggests Gareth and Milton Keynes, because the Strawberry Public House is across the road from the ground.
Oh, okay.
Nice. John in Southsea says Portsmouth should be the pair because of the current shape of the club.
No satire, please.
Or Joe in London, more satire. Portsmouth fruit may be the raspberry, which the board are blowing at the country's most loyal fans.
This is all transient stuff. In 100 years, it won't make any sense. We need a fruit for every team for the ages.
And I like this, another groundsman story.
These are stories. Ever met a groundsman in real life? Or, as a side order on that, as a referee, ever done a good deed in real life?
Oh,
you ring up and say, and
nice.
It turned out to be some of the referees doing good deeds or just meeting groundsmen. What is it?
This is from Barney in Peterborough, who says, my work sponsored MK Dons against Brighton last season, and we were being shown around the ground. I strayed from the group and stepped half my big toe on the pitch. The groundsman ran the full length of the pitch in about 3 seconds with a rake in his hand, looking like Willie the Mad Caretaker from The Simpsons. And that sums up groundsman.
For half a toe? It depends, of course. Some people have
toe.
Extraordinary big toes, which I don't like to even dwell upon. But it depends. His half a big toe may have extended to the centre circle. So I'm with the groundsman on that one. We know nothing about it. We're after people who have got pools, by the way. And have you ever been called out on the tannoy? Here's James. James!
Hi there, Danny.
Hiya, James. Thanks for being there. James, other than, some emergency, what other business have people been called over the public address system for?
Right, basically, Danny, I live in Bristol and I'm a Bristol Rovers fan.
Yeah.
And as you probably know, we used to play over at Twickenham Park in Bath for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Basically, the story is, obviously, I went over with my dad. This was for a really big match, the Torquay in the Leyland Bath competition.
Okay.
And so we drove over my mum drove us over to Bath, no problems. So we're there watching the game. Suddenly there's a an announcement. I think it was in the second half. And it was saying, basically, this is a message. It's actually for my dad. This is a message for John Packwood. John Packwood, could you please get a lift home as your mum's car is broken down and there's no way you can get back?
Oh, you don't need that amongst the other fully grown adults. Now,
that's right. And I was only about 13, 14 at the time. So there's really, big cheer goes up, obviously, from the crowd.
Yeah.
Much sort of joviality, as it were.
You know, James, I've heard it, and I think everyone's been at a game where some fellas, Joe Schmo, could you return home immediately? Your wife is locked out. They don't have to do that. They could just say return home or get in touch with us, but they throw that in there to make you a figure of fun.
And the best thing to make it even worse for me, my dad's there sort of going around, oh, that's me, sort of thing,
I was going to say, did you have to identify yourself? But I suppose the moment you stood up, you would get the full round of applause.
That's right, yeah.
So your mum had rung the ground because her car had broken down?
That's right, yeah. That's exactly right. So we did get a lift back from a friend. We didn't have to walk back.
I've got to ask now. Is that the only time mums have ever rung a football ground? Thank you, James. But what other reasons do mums ring football grounds? They must think there's about 12 people standing in a line. James's mum rang, to alert him that he's going to have some trouble getting home because her car had broken down. Reasons to be called out on the tannoy, please. But for some reason, we're doing disappeared breakfast cereals this morning.
Quite a few have been mourned. Sadly
really
lost.
Gone? What, such as? Who's gone?
Well, yes, this is... Oh, no, it's just... as soon as I say that, I can guarantee that I lose it. Puffer Rice.
Has Puffer Rice gone?
A red box with Sooty on the front.
Really?
Is it Sooty's
They make
little
all this
voice that
fuss
you do?
about the white rhino, and there, Puffer Rice just disappears and nobody
It was
raises
absolutely
the
lovely,
alarm.
says Sam in Aylesbury. Why don't they make it anymore? It's a crime. You never see Start breakfast cereal anymore, says Craig in Darlington.
Start was a recent casualty. I believe that's what started me down this line. Puffer Rice going. Suddenly I feel like the whole show's not worth carrying on with.
What about Golden Nuggets?
Golden Nuggets, you see, there is. I bet there's 100 disappeared in the time. And now, when you hear it, all you want is a big bowl full of them.
Captain Crunch.
We're doing what we can in the face of the sport being called off. What sport is called on? Invent one in your house now, or certainly in your garden with the conditions, and tell us exactly how it unfolds, please. And it's 9:45, so we better see what's happening with Lindsay.
Thanks very much, Daniel. Lorry has broken down on the M62 westbound between junction 12 Eccles Interchange and junction 11 Birchwood. The inside lane is blocked. Traffic is starting to queue there. On the M6 both ways between Newton Le Willows and Haydock, 2 lanes are closed. In North Yorkshire, there's been an accident involving a lorry on the A1M, blocking 1 lane at junction 47 Allerton Park. The A57 Snake Pass closed between Glossop and Sheffield. The A14 in Suffolk is closed westbound between junction 42 at Wesley Interchange and 39 at Kenford. A lorry has hit the central reservation there. There have been a few accidents because of snow on the A421 between Buckingham and Milton Keynes. In Essex, several minor accidents on the A12 between Whittam South and Boreham Interchange. In Kent, vehicles struggling on the A2. Delays are building between Dover and Canterbury there. Eurostar are running a reduced timetable today with a number of cancellations. Many train services across the UK are disrupted. Lots, in fact, a full list of all the affected routes at nationalrail.co.uk. Problems at the airports. No closures at any of the major airports. All the runways open, but delays and cancellations. All of today's BA flights from Manchester to Heathrow have been cancelled, and EasyJet have cancelled 36 flights so far today. The travel hotline 03700 100 500. Lindsay Hipgrave, 5 Live Travel.
I think the series is competitive. It's being played in a hard way.
Graham Onions has survived the final over to save the game for his country.
Test match special.
What a huge tonic for England and English cricket to save it with character.
South Africa versus England. The 4th test starts Thursday from 8:15 on 5 Live Sports Extra. 5 Live sister service available exclusively digitally. To find out how to receive 5 Live Sports Extra, click bbc.co.uk/5 Live. Saturday morning on 5 Live with Danny Baker.
Very good morning to you, everybody, and well done for the first 47 or so minutes. We've had tremendous input from everybody of subjects I can't even remember what we're doing now. What about the big 3D revolution taking place, Izzy? We're getting 3D World Cup games. It really is. Stop it now. Everyone relax. Let's not invent anything for another year. It's wearing glasses.
They never worked for me, though.
Oh, they do. Oh, no. They come on a
I've got
lot.
one eye that's very different from the other eye, and it doesn't work.
Put in a claim right now. That's the kind of thing you can get a few quid for. I cannot see the World Cup because my eyes don't work. Yeah. David Bowie being a prime example of that. But until they make television screens that just do it, none of us are going to want accessories to watch games. But it's a marvellous age we live in, everybody. Here's our friend David in Lancashire. David!
Good morning, Danny.
Good morning to you, David. You know, there's a million things going on with the weather and the sports being called off all over the place. And it seems everyone just wants to talk about disappeared breakfast cereals.
Oh, yeah.
What have you got for us, David?
Well, there was one back the last time I saw it, I think would be 1974, 75, and it was All Stars.
All Stars?
They were actually star-shaped when they fell into your cereal bowl.
Oh, I see.
And they were like a golden honey crunchy type thing. I can't exactly remember the taste. All I remember is that I want them.
I can, and yes, I can. Once you said they were star shaped, which I don't know why I didn't get from All Stars, David. Before everything was Honey Nut, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Honey Nut because you've got got the honey which lasts forever.
Love honey.
Honey lasts forever. They open the pyramids, and every time there's a bowl of honey, tuck in, it's still good. No sell by date on honey. And then you've got the nuts, of course, which is made of wood. Yes. So that's all good. But these things, David, they used to take... You know Rainbow Drops? Those little...
Yes.
They tasted like rainbow drops.
A little bit like that as well,
They were, as they used to say, sugar-coated. Now they shy away from that.
Oh, yes, very much so.
They were sugar-coated All-Stars. Now you say it, yes, they've gone.
And the last time you actually saw them would be in the 8 variety pack setup, it was a Kellogg's product.
Harry Hill always said, they always put 2 of the same in those variety products. Where's the variety in that? But nothing was more exciting. This is kids. If you're listening and you're under the age of 30, nothing is more exciting than getting a little tiny pack. And now kids don't think anything of that. Getting your own pack of breakfast, if it were All Stars, I think it was because... You'd put All Stars in a bowl, which were sugar-coated, David, and then you'd put sugar on them. Cornflakes.
Oh, no, you didn't. I never done that.
On.
No.
I bet there are people out there now listening who still put sugar on cornflakes. That's what you did.
You put sugar on cornflakes, but not on a sugar-coated cereal.
But people don't put sugar on them anymore because we're told, sugar, it's the silent killer.
I'd still put sugar on my cornflakes, I think.
I think there's a documentary on this very channel over the next week.
Sugar, Danny, you put honey or fruit on them now.
Honey,
anything. Honey or fruit.
But,
You
used to cut out the middleman, David, and just go straight for sugar-coated All-Stars.
Oh,
and they
definitely.
boasted it with extra sugar. Thank you very much, David in Lancashire. Disappeared breakfast
cereal. You mentioned nuts being made of wood, and
yes,
of course honey being, the secretion of an insect. And you think about where milk comes from and where egg comes from. It makes you a bit worried about eating anything. I'm not worried.
You don't eat meat, though, do you?
No, that's true.
There you are. Don't you get old squeamish Lil over there?
This has come from John Pinner in Middlesex. He says, Danny, I was amazed yesterday to hear that the latest sport, if indeed it can be called that, to be called off in Scotland was curling.
Yes, I heard this story and I thought it was just a
joke.
Apocryphal.
But no, the curling match in Stirling, of all places, had fallen foul of the weather. And I thought, says John, it was played in the snow.
Well, which film, which timeless and a great classic, I think we can call it that, features curling? Very few films feature curling.
Yeah, not many.
Help. The Beatles Help. Yeah, Victor Spinetti tries to put the bomb across to the Beatles by putting in one of the curling stones. And so I can't think of another film that has curling in it. But it's over to the audience with that one. What else are we doing this morning? We're certainly doing referees doing good deeds in real life. Has your name ever been called out over the tannoy? And a fruit for every football team. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a point. We're not looking for admiring glances here. But if you want to adopt a fruit on behalf of your football team, no rib-tickling wordplay, you just say the Loganberry for I'd say berry there, but let's not do that. The Loganberry for Southampton. Why? Just because. And by the end of the show, hopefully, every team in Britain will have a fruit representing it, because nobody's done that before.
Is an artichoke a fruit?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Do you think that's... I think that's a very posh fruit, so I think Peterborough United should be the artichoke.
OK, you can have the artichoke, which I just declared to be a fruit in a completely baseless...
Random fashion.
What's the most... that's always your guide to life. What's the most interesting answer here? No or yes? Yes usually is. Here's Mark. Mark!
Hello, Danny.
Hiya, Mark. Here's a reason for being read out over the public address system.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest story in the world.
You know what?
I'll apologise in advance.
Why should we start now?
It did cause me cringingly embarrassment for 30 seconds of my life about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I even remember the day. It was the same day as the poll tax riot. I was gutted I missed that, but anyway, that's another aside.
No, it's not. See, the devil is in the detail there. You see,
well,
every time you see the poll tax riot footage and the rest of the country goes, oh, I remember sitting following that, you remember it for a different reason.
Exactly, because I was being embarrassed in public, and this instance, namely at the Molineux football grounds. I was there to see my team Leeds in the away end.
Yeah.
I think we were going for promotion at the time. We lost 1-0, so, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, 10 minutes towards the end of another dull game. Football wasn't so good in the olden days, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. The tannoy announcer read out, we've got an interesting one here, which for some reason, I don't know why, it wasn't remotely interesting at all, as you'll find out. But, you know, for some reason, he seemed to think it was interesting. And I think even the players' ears may have pricked up, you know, for some reason. But anyway, he says, we found a checkbook. And I'm beginning, of course, that in itself is inherently dull.
No, it's not. This is terrific.
Although I suppose we were in Wolverhampton, so you've got to put these things in perspective.
Yeah.
Apologies to all my colleagues in the Black Country there. But anyway, all it was, you know, he said, we've got... And, of course, everyone chortled away, including my good self, until he read out my name.
Wow.
And it belongs to a Mr. J.M. McCoy, which was my good self. Anyway, which was rather embarrassing.
The amount of people who were feeling for their back pockets when he said, we
I
found
don't
a
know,
checkbook.
because, I mean, obviously we were going through the old transitional stage. People were using their ATM cards more.
Let me ask you this, Mark. How comes you lost your checkbook?
I don't know. I don't even know why I had it with me. I'm one of these people, and I know there's numerous people who'd vouch for me. I'm kind of fairly obsessive about carrying as much clutter and rubbish around with me as possible, stuff it all in my pocket.
Flinging away a checkbook seems excessive.
Well, I don't know. I probably owed somebody some money, or there was that possibility.
Well, your Trillian Susanna said it ruined the line of your rear end in your jeans. But and so
I think that was more to do with the beer, but there you go.
Did you jump up immediately and take a bow? Because I think that's the only way
well,
out of it.
I didn't exactly jump up because it was obviously the day of the terracing. I think I actually was trying to hide my embarrassment. But I was with about 5 other people who all pointed at me and started laughing, kind of thing, you know.
So
but anyway,
I've got to say, whenever you look then at the carnage in Trafalgar Square and the overturned cars being set on fire and bricks hurtling towards the police and the riot charges,
I was gutted I missed it, Danny.
You sit there and think, I lost my checkbook that day.
Well, no. Well, it wasn't quite. There's a very, very, very small twist to this. I mean,
go on.
Anyway, needless to say, I went to the club offices, asked them about it. Of course, they knew nothing about it, so I had to leave my name and address, which is slightly embarrassing. And then
they knew nothing about it.
Well, exactly. They'd only read my name out over the tannoy.
So was it during the game you had to walk to the offices, or afterwards?
No, after the game.
Okay.
I'm not that much of a sucker.
But this ain't joined up. This ain't joined up thinking, is it? The tannoy are not in touch with the club.
Well, you know, to be fair, this was Wolves.
Yeah,
and,
okay. You did say that. No, you did say that. You're
but
quite
anyway, the only other thing I was going to say is that about 3 months later, I did eventually get my checkbook back from Wolves, but about 3 months later I noticed that some kind soul had written their name and address in the back.
Looking for a drink.
They were expecting
Looking for a drink. Yes, they were.
Yeah, but I think their name was Gareth Edwards, but I don't think it was the Gareth Edwards. But anyway, unfortunately, by that time, the momentum of gratitude had gone.
Yeah, what a wonderful phrase, the momentum of gratitude. That's the thing. If you want it, you should have presented it in person if it had any sense. Mark, I'm going to have to lose you there, but what a terrific story.
Good luck, Danny, anyway.
Thank you. Good luck to you, Mark. And he knows where he was when the poll tax riots were taking place. He was keeping the momentum of gratitude going. People, you know, everyone says about the Kennedy assassination still, you know, and stuff, or whatever great seismic event, usually a tragedy. They know where they were when something happened. But it's the little things when people know where they were. I know exactly where I was when Eutha Joyce died. Dear Eutha Joyce, the actress, I was in Spain on holiday with a few friends of mine, and the waitress came up, and forgive the Manuel impersonation, but he did speak like this. He knew we were English, and he came across to us and he said, you're English? We said, yes. He said, Mildred, she's dead. What? What Mildred? George, Mildred, she's dead. For some reason, I now know exactly where I was when Eutha Joyce passed away, so we may reflect upon that as we go across the morning. What have you got there?
I would like to add my voice to the clarion call for the return of Steve Cram-approved Start cereal, says this correspondent, Terry Clegg. He says, the taste of the milk and the sugar once you cleared the cereal was indescribably good. Who'd eat cornflakes without sugar? Also, on the fruits teams front, I can provide an edible 11, which several of us worked up over the course of a few days last summer.
Here we go.
Goalkeeper Steve Cherry. We have in defence Pat Rice, Frank Leboeuf, Torben Peitschnick, Scott Minto, and then the midfield is Barry Venison, Tony Curry, Kevin Muscat and Patrick Berger, and up front Tony Woodcock and Frankie Bunn, the manager Dick Advocar, the corruption advisor Graham Bean, and of course the chairman Alan Sugar, always good with cornflakes.
And wonderful. Well, maybe I was too hasty in saying that, it's not. I don't think it's actually been outlawed, but very few people still put sugar on their breakfast cereal. And it seems like at some some perhaps benign Potsdam experience, that the cereal companies have got together and said, let's phase out the sugar. Now, nobody asked us about that, and I think it's about time that, sugar-coated was brought back. I remember I saw a headline once in the National Enquirer, Chocoholic mum gives birth to sugar-coated baby. I've got to tell you, we've let that era slip by. But on our watch, we will bring back sugar to breakfast cereals as we examine the ones that have disappeared. I think I'm giving a speech here. So vote for me. Matt, I do apologise, Matt. I was really getting swept up in the moment there. Whenever you put that music on, you can't help it. Matt, what have you got for us? Good morning.
Hi there, Danny. Great show, by the way.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much indeed. Very nice
I've got the mini match. You must have played it before yourself.
Go on.
Indoor mini match.
What?
Obviously, can't get out in the snow at the moment.
Yeah.
Football practice down the park.
We're calling games on, if you're wondering what it is. We're asking people to call us and say, this game's still on. What is it?
Well, this game will be on when the kids get up.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on that. It's a corridor. You've got to find a corridor in your house.
Yeah.
Obviously, the hallway will do.
Go and give them a gentle shake and they'll get up.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping, obviously, to get a bit of underfloor heating because the carpet's looking a bit cold. Mate, and I'm a bit worried about putting laminate flooring down.
So
anyway...
You've got a corridor with a door at either end, yep.
Door at either end, yeah. Kitchen's one goal. Study's the other goal.
Brilliant.
Laundry basket, that's definitely out of bounds. Anyone on the stairs, got to wait till it comes down, obviously.
Yeah.
Used to use... You must have done this in the past. Loads of newspaper rolled up together.
No, I know. Do you know, a balloon, yes, I've certainly played with a balloon.
No,
of course,
a balloon's
a
no
tennis
good,
ball.
because it's too light.
No, you'd be surprised. I know it seems like you hit a balloon hard, it goes behind you, but it is possible. It is possible to play with a balloon on a landing. You have more than one whack, of course.
Yes, this is a proper football match, yeah.
Are there stairs on this landing?
There are stairs on the landing. Obviously, if it goes on the stairs, you've got to wait till it comes down.
Yeah, of course,
So it causes a problem when it gets stuck up there.
And it can take place. There is a difference between a landing, a hall, and a passage, by the way, in people's houses. Definitely. And you play this fixture
That's
regularly.
very middle class to have more than just the one in your house.
He's calling from Kent. So you play this fixture more than once recently?
Oh, yeah, I've got to. I mean, at the moment, the kids are getting a bit older now, so...
They're leaving you stranded.
Exactly. One's going off to university just probably either tomorrow, given the snow, it may not be.
Yeah.
But we've got to have a final mini-match before he goes off.
We've got to go for the 10 o'clock news, but Matt, what is it, 1 goal and off, or is there a time on it?
First to 20, got to win by 2.
First to 20?
Get them up so that we can have a live game in the next hour.
We'll have a go and we'll get back to you with the results.
I would love to hear from you again in the next hour, Matt. Yes, thank you very much. These are games you can call on because you're staging them yourselves in your own homes or gardens. OK, it is 10 o'clock. Here's Tom with the news.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Emmanuel Adebayor says the moment gunmen attacked the Togo team coach was one of the worst experiences of his life. The Manchester City player was travelling to Angola with teammates for the Africa Cup of Nations when they were faced with an armed gang. The driver was killed. Adebayor says that he did what he could for those players who were injured.
I am one of those people who have to carry the injured players or injured staff into the hospital, and those are the times that you realize what is happening. And I can say when I take one of the players into the hospital, when I come out, I see all the players. Everyone was crying. Everyone was talking about their family. Everyone was calling their mom, crying on the phone. I think that's the worst moment of this day.
There's more snow on the way, with most of the country again forecasting freezing temperatures this weekend. The lowest temperature recorded last night was -15 degrees Celsius. Snow and ice are causing more disruption at airports. Passengers are being warned to check whether their flight's delayed or cancelled before they leave home. All BA flights from Manchester to Heathrow have been cancelled. Many to Edinburgh and Glasgow aren't running, and international services are affected as well. EasyJet has also cancelled some of its flights. The charity Age Concern is calling for an immediate review of winter fuel and cold weather payments to stop a rise in deaths. It says the current system is no longer fit for purpose. The government says it's doing all it can, but Mary Phillips, who's a pensioner, says she's worried about paying her bills.
I've had to keep the heating on a lot of the day, and usually it's on a timer, but the last few days I've had to have it on all the time, and I'm very worried that my energy bills will go up so much that I have to eat less and heat more.
The Foreign Office says it's monitoring reports that Somali pirates holding a British couple have demanded a ransom of £1.9 million. Paul and Rachel Chandler from Tunbridge Wells were kidnapped in October as they sailed between the Seychelles and Tanzania. The government's warned the Democratic Unionists not to put devolution in Northern Ireland at risk over the controversy surrounding the party's leader, Peter Robinson. Mr Robinson has denied keeping quiet about his wife's failure to disclose loans of £50,000 used to help her teenage lover set up a restaurant. Reverend David McIlveen is a close friend of the Reverend Ian Paisley, the former First Minister. He says Peter Robinson should step down temporarily.
I do believe that his position is becoming increasingly untenable. He has a major problem with regard to solving his own family difficulties, and I personally cannot take the view that a person's private life does not affect their public life. Judgments that we make in private will undoubtedly influence our judgments in public.
And the Chancellor's warning that Britain faces the toughest spending cuts for 20 years. In an interview in today's Times, Alistair Darling says spending on public services has to be reined in once the economy's recovered from recession. 5 Live, that's the latest at the Sport Now. And here's Caroline.
The Hull manager Phil Brown is calling for his Premier League players to return from the Africa Cup of Nations after the bus attack on the Togo team. Brown has 2 players at the tournament. Togo will decide today whether or not to take part. An undersoil heating failure means Wigan against Aston Villa is the latest Premier League game to be postponed. Arsenal, Everton and Manchester United against Birmingham, the only 2 games currently on in the top flight. Both of this afternoon's race meetings at Kempton and Lingfield go ahead after early inspections. And after beating the world number 26 in the Hopman Cup in Perth, British youngster Laura Robson has gained a wildcard for the Australian Open.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. News, sport and entertainment.
Call 0500 909 693. Calls are free from most landlines, but some networks and mobile operators will charge. Text 85058. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. This is 5 Live. Saturday morning on 5 Live.
With Danny Baker.
Call
0500 909 693.
Text
85058.
Email
lord.reith@bbc.co.uk.
Welcome, everyone. If you want to jump back an hour and listen to the first 59 minutes of the programme, you'll probably be no wiser of what we're doing in the second 59 minutes of the programme. But, man, there's been some entertainment there. I think the folks are well and truly entertained. We can take the next hour off. What is that pitch they have in Holland that is kept 2 miles away from the ground? And they have to. It walks through the streets. The pitch on the way to the stadium, like an inert running of the Pamplona Bulls. There is a pitch that crawls to the venue
because the venue doesn't have enough sunlight for the grass to grow properly.
So they grow it a couple of miles away, and then it's put on some kind of electric rollers. And every game, they run it through the streets to the applause of the locals. People think you're pulling this out of the air, but it's absolutely true. There is a pitch that we've all got to adopt because plainly we need to do something. Given that there's only 1.5 games on, how can there be half a game on?
If we could find out what pitch it was, that's the stadium we need to save, isn't it?
I don't know what fixture it is. It's not. It may be Yeovil's game, but only the second half is on. I don't understand that. We'll bring you more information as we get it. They're only playing the second half. I may have got that wrong, so don't take my word for it. But I think I heard that only the second half of the game is on.
Talking of things that are on some things, we're not on Freeview today, but we are on cable and satellite, if you press your red button.
Well, I'm wearing an advertising T-shirt, so maybe that's a good thing. Here's our friend Dave in Bristol. Dave.
Hi, how you doing, mate?
Good as gold, Dave. How can possibly just the second half of a game be on? Maybe I heard that wrong. But, Dave, you've got a breaking story for us.
Well, it's hardly breaking. It happened a couple of years ago.
Do you know what? In this country, that's a breaking...
Yesterday's news tomorrow.
I've heard 24-hour rolling news networks do with thinner gruel than that. So, Dave, what happened?
Well, I'm on my way from Cheltenham to Stroud along this slightly windy single carriageway road, and come across like a queue of traffic.
Yeah.
And sort of stopped in the queue of traffic, gradually moving forward. And it turns out there's been an accident, and one lane's blocked. This car's partially off the road. They're waiting for the police and the ambulance to turn up.
Yeah.
And there's these 4 guys directing the traffic.
Yeah.
And they all got the same sort of tracksuits on. And when we get up close to the front of the queue, just had a chat with one of them, this big geezer, and it turns out they're full referees, just come back from this conference thing, and they're like using their communication skills and all that sort of stuff they use on a pitch to direct traffic.
One of our subjects is referees doing good deeds in real life, and I didn't know if we'd get anything, but there's part of me thinks they're giving themselves some side there. Everyone stand back, we are referees, let us through. It seems a bit great. They were doing a good job, though, were they?
Ah, brilliant, mate. I was just waiting to see the flag signals going backwards and forwards, so they were directing the traffic through. It's marvellous. Funniest thing I've ever seen, mate.
But given they were referees, it's half a chance they would have missed something. Some articulated lorry goes through. They must have seen it. This was a couple of years ago, was it?
Yeah. I chatted to one of them. It turns out they're on their way back from some sort of conference at Forest Green or something.
Oh, well, earlier on, we said good deeds. That's a huge good deed. We don't know the names of them, but by the same token, it's slightly tempered by the idea that let us through, we're referees. But
no. I'll tell you, mate, that this road, this bend, this car's sticking out of a bush. Anybody else come ploughing through there, and you've got casualties all over the place.
For once, we'll say hats off to the officialdom. Just on the back of that, I don't know why we're doing it. It's a perverse day, but Dave in Bristol brings us the first example of referees doing good deeds in real life. Coming to you, Joan, and then Paul. What have we got?
Two sports called on. Robin Windsor says indoor garage clearance, a vain attempt by mum and dad to clear space in the garage for the car to get it out of the snow. But this one, which I do think
I'd say, Izzy, this week I was on the show I do in London. I was asking people who are working from home, in quotation marks, to call up and say, you know what, I'm supposed to be working from home, but I haven't done a damn thing. And here is what I've done. And a lot of people taking this time to clear out garages, back rooms, and kitchen drawers. But it seemed the favourite thing that most people working from home did this week was make egg sandwich, watch a bit of the History Channel, and then settle down for back-to-back episodes of Bargain Hunt. And that seems to be the way the nation kept turning this week in working from home, we said.
What's happened to the sausage sandwich game, by the way?
The sausage sandwich game. We're waiting for Kevin Gallagher to land. Yes, he was crossing a field and a ball hit him in the rear end. No, he's on a plane and he'll be landing certainly by the end of the show. This is the greatest sausage sandwich instalment we've ever had. Not only did it end on a nail-biting draw last week.
Casper, the Leeds fan, and Ray, the Brighton fan.
But now we are waiting moment by moment to hear from Kevin Gallagher to call this game on. We have now 50 minutes to get this fixture on. We're doing everything we can. It's down to the aviation authorities. It's just our friend Joan first. Joan!
Hello.
Joan, thank you for being there. Joan, of the side order on the breakfast table of sporting subjects is disappeared breakfast cereals. Now, I can see two words here, and I don't know what this means. Tell us what you've got, Joan.
It relates to a subject that you were doing about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's out-of-date food.
Oh,
and
okay.
My cousin has a tin of pig's tails
in
brine that dates back to 1947.
Hold on. Let us celebrate that while we might. Now, she had a tin of pig's tails.
In brine. That's important. In brine.
I think the pig's tails may take it. And it's from 1947?
Yes.
Well, you win a sweepstake of sell-by dates.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us more about it then. This what does it look like, and dare you open them? Because I'm just thinking 60-year-old pig's tails, maybe that's the time they need to mature.
Maybe. It's a tin. It's about 12 inches high and about 5 inches across.
That's a lot of pig's tails.
It's Piggy Wiggies.
No, pig's tails. They're long dead.
Still got its label on. It's moved house from Kent to Shropshire to Staffordshire to Cheshire, but nobody dares to throw it away. It's a family treasure.
I tend to think I would like to be there. I mean, in the States once they did a special show when they opened Al Capone's private vault in a bank in Chicago. It hadn't been open for 70, 80 years, and they did a whole TV special. Now, I'm not suggesting, this is up there with it, but I'm suggesting this is up there with it. I think certainly like Channel 5 could do opening. Whose is it, Joan?
It's my cousin's.
Opening Joan's cousin's tin of 1947 pig's tails. I'd be there as the first tin opener goes in and some kind of, like at the end of Close Encounters when all those green spirits come towards the screen. I think the brine might have kept them, Joan. What do you think?
But, Danny, if you open them, you can't throw them away. We've got to have a recipe for them.
Well, don't you just eat them like pepperoni sticks?
I don't know. I don't even know if they've still got the curl in them.
That game,
Curly whirlies.
but they wouldn't have much snap. And I
Savoury
know
curly whirly.
I know we're dwelling on this, but this is a tremendous find. I think the Victoria and Albert Museum will be queuing up to get this. I think I know people, and I'm putting myself in front of the queue, who would eschew the tails and just lift the can and drink the brine. Oh, come on! You see, it could be like it could be like red wine. It could be like, this is a 1947, sir. Very good, sir. It could be the kind of thing that Roman Abramovich orders when he goes to a restaurant.
While you're having your bacon sandwich this morning.
Well, Joan, thank you very much indeed for. Yes, it was a subject we were doing the other week, and all our subjects remain open. We were playing sell-by-date poker, and not only has it got the double whammy there.
Game, set and match.
Absolutely. Pig's Tails in brine from 1947.
Julie in Northumberland has a new sport for today.
Go on, calling a game on.
Simply clear a small space in your garden.
Mm-hmm.
Put some food out for the birds. Then pick a bird as your team, e.g. blackbird. Then you score a goal for every time your birds come to feed. So full-time scores could be as follows. Blackbird Rovers 6, Thrush City 5, Robin Redbreast 7, Blue Tits Albion 12,
Brilliant.
Magpie United 5, Pigeon Mackems 0, Woodpecker Rangers 11, Sparrow Celtic 2.
Wow, that is a great game. And just, it'd make sparingly used, I'd be no good at it, but sparingly used, a commentator saying that, got a J, he's just outside the circle. No, he's walking away again. He's walking away again. Now, what is that? Is that a thrush? Now, we haven't had a goal from a thrush since 1947. A great year for curly pig's tails, that. And yes, he's... And the thrush is in. It's 1-0 for Thrush. Very good. We're going to return to that as soon as we have any more. Wow, that'd be a great game. You see, this kind of ludicrous negativity that Five is sometimes prone to do. Oh, this game's off, that game's off. Every game we call off, we have to call a game on.
And then you'd have squirrels invading the pitch.
Well, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's not put the seahorse before the sea cart if we're thickening that broth. Paul.
Hi there.
For Paul, it just says here, things have changed in football. What do you mean, Paul?
There's one memory I have, 1970 World Cup finals, where there seemed to be national concern of why all the England players were sporting wrist injuries. And it turned, Brian Moore had to come on television and tell everyone it was actually because they were wearing sweatbands.
Oh.
And he demonstrated how they worked on television. Obviously these people never watched tennis and realised that all tennis players don't suffer from wrist injuries.
I don't remember. I mean, I remember the 70 World Cup, but like it was...
You look at a picture of the world, any of the England matches, they've always got these white wristbands.
No, I'm aware of that, and I remember how hard they were to get, and when you had one, you wore it whether you were playing football or not. But I don't remember the scare that people said, what are those, Mum?
I'm not sure it was a scare, but it was certainly Brian Moore was reassuring, and say, look, don't worry.
I remember this, Paul, while we're just wandering around 1970. For a while, for one game only around that period, ITV decided to cut out all extraneous events in a football match. So if a ball went over the line for a throw-in, they would edit it immediately to the player having the ball in his hands again. When a shot went wide, it cut straight to the goal kick. They had one edition of the big match where there was
revolutionary.
It just kept the ball on the pitch, and it was jump cutting. It wasn't done. Now it would be revolutionary
They record that anyway. It's 60 minutes most matches last.
But they said we're going to. I think I'm right now. Maybe the only person who remembers it. But along with the wristbands of 1970, they also cut out any time the ball left the pitch because they figured just keep the ball in motion. And this wasn't trying to make any sense. And they abandoned it after 1 week because, again, people were running down the street saying, not only do we not know why they've broken their wrists, but they seem to be moving like aliens. Thank you very much. Paulie, sorry, I have to lose you.
Big news. What? The Eagle has landed in the form of Kevin Gallagher, so very, very shortly, the third round replay of Oi, Do Me a Favour.
And here's Lindsay with the travel.
Thanks very much, Danny. On the M58, on the whole stretch between Switch Island and Orrell Interchange, the outside lane closed in both directions because of the ice. On the M6 northbound, 2 lanes closed between junction 22 Newton Willows and 23 Haydock, 1 lane closed southbound there. In Cumbria, the A6 Shap Summit is closed. There's been an accident on the A1M at junction 47 Allerton Park involving a lorry that's blocking 1 lane. The A57 Snake Pass closed between Glossop and Sheffield. In Uttoxeter, the A50 is closed. That's westbound. It's following an accident involving a lorry between the A522 and the A521. The A40, that's the Oxford Northern Bypass, that's closed westbound because of snow between Headington roundabout and Cudslow roundabout. In Kent, vehicles struggling on the A2 between Dover and Canterbury. Eurostar are running a reduced timetable today with a number of cancellations. Train services across the UK as well are experiencing delays and cancellations, so check before travelling. And there are delays and cancellations at airports across the UK. British Airways are warning passengers to check before leaving for the airport. They've had to cancel several flights, same with EasyJet as well. The travel hotline 03700 100 500. Lindsay Hipgrave, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live Sports Extra. 5 Live sister service available exclusively digitally. Brings you even more sporting choice.
Took it first time on the volley and drove it fiercely.
Including football, boxing, NFL, athletics.
Jessica Ennis is the world champion.
Championship swimming, golf, the Tour de France.
And it's a new British Tour de France record.
Tennis, live cricket, rugby league, rugby union, Formula One.
Pole position for Jenson Button by 3/100ths of a second.
Coming up this month on 5 Live Sports Extra. Test match cricket, Australian Open tennis. For full programme listings, click bbc.co.uk/5 Live. Saturday morning on 5 Live with Danny Baker.
If you just joined us, I have made the sensational announcement an hour ago. I am making my candidacy available and making myself a candidate, indeed, for Jonathan Ross's show. He's just left. Yes, the press have been outside, and I've got to say, I'm confirming it now. I'm second favourite in the book is I'm putting my hat in the ring, my head forward to take over from the... we can do it simultaneously with
You're
this one.
my favourite.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can go to that microphone and be on Radio 2, this one for 5, use exactly the same material. Boom. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why would Michael McIntyre want the gig when we are willing to do 2 shows in one? Your licence fee at work. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to play the Portsmouth... This is the support act to Oi Do Me a Favour, which is coming next. It is the Portsmouth team done as a scat jazz song.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Papa Booba Dee up, we talk a kind of run it in down. Papa Booba, I run bikini. Papa Booba Dee up, Papa Booba Dee up, Papa Booba, I run it in down. Can you talk Papa Booba Dee up, I run it in down. Van Den Bore, Angelo Spasinas, Papa Booba Dee up, Duba, I run it in down. Jamie O'Hara, you talk Papa Booba Dee up, I run it in down. Lots and lots of Papa Booba Dee up, and a little bit of Kevin Prince Boateng. Papa Booba Dee up, we talk a kind of run it in down. Papa Booba, I run bikini. Papa Booba Dee up, Papa Booba Dee up, Papa Booba, I run it in down.
Thing of beauty, joy forever, and once in every show we must reflect upon that. So at last we've got all the elements together. Kevin.
Good morning.
Kevin Gallagher. Well, it was touch and go for a while there, but we're not like these wimps up and down the country calling off games because a snowflake has fell on the stands. We hang in there. We knew you'd land. Where are you at the moment, Kevin?
I'm just outside Heathrow Airport at the minute.
Okay. A delayed flight, or just this was planned to get in at this time anyway?
No, it's planned to get in slightly earlier, but we're just slightly delayed back in Manchester.
Well, good man. Well, you must have been sweating on the plane, thinking, come on, I've got the sausage sandwich game to do.
Exactly, that's what I was doing. I was panicking because I'm thinking, when can I turn my phone on just to get hold of it?
They waved you through at the airport. The customs officer said, make way, gangway, this fella's coming through to entertain everyone with his knowledge about sausage sandwiches, etc. Well, I can't tell you, we've had more mail about this one than any of the others. We had 2 letters about this. This is the sensation that's sweeping the nation. Last week it ended in a draw, Kevin. You know how it's played. I won't leave you there sitting by the smokers' lounge. We'll get on with this. Gavin, our referee. Gavin, are you there?
How you doing, all right?
Yeah, we're calling... Could you officially call this game on, Gavin?
The game is officially on.
Yeah, he's tested the airwaves with his finger in his mouth, putting his index finger up, and he's tested it, and it's on. This is our friend Casper. Casper, remind everyone who you're playing for.
I'm playing for Leeds. You'll be 2-0 down.
Yeah, but you...
don't happen. Dream on Bullwinkle. Would you like a medium slice or a large slice? Come on, hi, Danny.
He has been...
last week. What was it exactly that you said last week?
I said it'd be 2 down in 18 minutes. But the fact is, I just mentioned United didn't turn up, and I congratulate our Leeds friends in that. But now the euphoria is over. I think we're too far away from it to reflect upon it, Casper. So that speech, beautifully rehearsed as it was, it went sailing over my head. We have more pressing business. Here's Ray. Ray.
Morning, Dan.
I want you to win, Ray.
The Brighton fan, Dan. Brighton and over Albion, boy.
It's Leeds versus Brighton. Leeds represented by Casper. Last week fought each other to a standstill, a nail-biting climax as once again we have Leeds versus Brighton. Gavin, our referee, Kevin Gallagher, the subject in the sausage sandwich game. So, here's the theme tune, and then we'll get on with it. And the first question I'm going to put to our two players, they must anticipate the answer that Kevin Gallagher is going to give to us. And it has been suggested by John, this, and I wasn't going to use this, but circumstances have overtaken us, and this is as topical as today's headlines. Question 1 goes to you, Casper, for the first stab at this. When he's flying, Kevin, and I ask him for a seat preference, does he say, yes, a window seat, please? Does he say an aisle seat, please? Or does he have no preference? Does he often ask for a window seat, an aisle seat, or does he have no preference for his seat? What would you say, Casper?
I'm saying an aisle seat.
You say, so Gavin, write that down. Leeds have said Kevin asked for an aisle seat. Ray, what do you think? Is you're left with the options of a window seat or no preference?
I don't think he bothered, Dan.
You don't think he bothers. So coming back to you now, Kevin. Kevin, when you're flying and they say to you, where do you want to sit, sir? On the aisle? Do you want to sit by the window? Or do you have no preference? What is your preferred answer?
Well, I admit, Danny, I don't have a preference. I just take my seat as I get it.
There you go. There you go. Man after my own heart. Just sit me where you want. 1-0 to Brighton, and it comes across to Brighton. It's all gone quiet over there, Casper. Coming now to the second question. The second question on this week's Sausage Sandwich game. And it goes to Brighton. And I remind you, Brighton, if you get this right, you've won. At last, this war of attrition will have been eased. Here's the question for Kevin. I'm going to ask Kevin to name the capital of a South American country. Will he know straight away? Will he need 10 seconds? Or will he pass? I'm going to ask him to name the capital of a South American country. Will he need 10 seconds? A, will he know it straight away? B, will he need 10 seconds? Or C, will he pass? What do you think, Ray?
Depends what the country is, I suppose. Of course. I would say he'll know it.
Say he'll know it straight away. That's very bold of you. Casper, you're left with he'll ask for, give me 10 seconds on that. Or do you think he'll pass?
10 seconds.
He'll ask for 10 seconds on that. So, here we go. Kevin Gallagher, what is the capital? And really, you can ask for 10 seconds, of course, or you can answer straight away, or you can pass on it. What is the capital of Bolivia? Bolivia.
How did I know you were going to ask for that one?
What do you think?
It's probably the only one I don't know, Danny.
Are you going to pass? You pass on it? You passed on it.
Yeah.
Who did that go to then? Is it the Leeds?
No one.
No one did. Gavin, who did that go to?
No, still 1-0, no one.
Nobody got that.
But wait a second. Wait a second. Talking about Bolivia, do you mean the legislative capital, which is La Paz, or the constitutional capital, which is Sucre?
Who's saying La Paz?
La Paz, right? It's La Paz.
Yeah, I know, Ray. But
I think that's a null and void question.
Please, let us have 1 week where this does not descend into anarchy. Gavin, could you give us the score as it stands?
Brighton 1, Leeds 0.
Brighton 1, Leeds 0. It all comes down to this. I think, because if Leeds get this, it goes to week 3. Kevin, go nowhere. Here we go. Now, this was suggested by quite a few of you, this, and I will take your advice on this. And it is back to our old friend, the sausage sandwich. We can't ask red sauce, brown sauce, no sauce at all. We know that. Kevin, what was your choice of red sauce, brown sauce, no sauce at all?
It was brown sauce, wasn't it?
It was brown sauce, yes, it was. Yes, it was. So, here's the question this week. If Kevin is indoors and he fancies a sausage sandwich, by which method will he prepare the sausage? Will he A, fry, B, grill, C, microwave? Will he A, fry, B, grill, C, microwave? Casper for Leeds, will he A, fry, B, grill, or C, microwave?
Fry.
Fry. Leeds go for fry, Gavin. Ray, you are left with grill or microwave?
Well, I go what I always do, and I always grill him, Dan.
You always grill. Well, he's taking his own preference over Kevin Gallagher's preference, which is, Kevin, do you A, fry, B, grill, or C, microwave?
I go for the healthier option and grilling them, Danny.
You grill? It is Brighton 2. Brighton 2, Leeds 0. Suck on that, Casper.
Let's hope we beat him next month when we play it.
Well, do you know what, Casper? You were a great... But coming on the air with that swagger was never going to endear you. And Kevin Gallagher, thank you very much indeed. You now, Kevin, are released to get on with the rest of your life. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Casper. Thank you, Gavin. And thank you, Ray.
And I've got some results coming in as well. This is from Chris in Deptford. The latest scores from the middle table clash in Deptford. Great Tits 3, Collared Doves 1.
Listen, this is the
Blue
game.
Tits 2, Magpies 0. And he asks, sorry, but is Bird Table Football seeded?
Oh, very good. That's the kind of stuff that the Paul on the phone was. Wait there 1 second, Paul, because we must reflect over that what we've just been through there. We seem to have turned channel as soon as the final kick has been done. That was a terrific sausage sandwich.
It was great.
And if you're wondering what the bird thing was after it, we're asking you for calling games on. This is a brand new game been invented whereby you make a circle in the snow in your garden, and whichever breed of bird comes into it is a goal for their team. I don't know why I try explaining what's happening in the show. It doesn't make any more sense than when we're actually doing it.
I've got a nice tale for you.
Go on then.
This is a very nice tale, and it's coming from Steve from Slough, who says, I was over in Austria and we went for a walk in a park and stumbled across a football match. The teams were little more than village league players. As my wife is Austrian and close to her home, the man on the loudspeaker system, the tannoy, recognised us and seemed to get rather excited. He announced to the crowd of about 15 that there was a special guest who'd come all the way from Great Britain to watch the match. The players stopped playing and they and the small group of spectators turned towards us and gave us a rousing round of applause. Out of politeness, I waved regally and held my hand aloft like a celebrity to acknowledge the generous, if not enthusiastic, greetings. Of course, we had to curtail our walk through the park and take our place as guests of honour to watch the match. At the end of the game, every player came up to us to shake our hand. I felt I should have had medals to put over their heads. It worked out well in the end because we were invited to lunch at their cost. The announcer on the tannoy wasn't even with us at the local pub, so we didn't know a soul. But after lots of food and even more drink, we were all best of friends.
How about that? You know what comes out of that? Not the fact that players turned around and gave a hearty round of applause, which is lovely. Not the fact that she wasn't regal at all, but was happy to accept the applause on behalf of the royal family. But the idea that a football match can be brought to a halt for that. Now, you know where we're going with this. Yes, of course, stray dogs on the pitch, of course, an injury, even inclement weather. But what other reasons have caused football matches to suddenly stop? I'd love to hear those in the next half an hour, please. We've all got fruit for every team, and all the other doors are open this morning. If you want to get in touch and nominate a fruit that should represent your football